Hi all, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to understand what is the store procedure. So this is on-demand video. So we'll understand the basic concepts of the SQL store procedure, how we can create it, what is actually and what is the actually store procedure and what are the benefits of store procedure. So that we always, we always have a recommended to use the store procedure instead of inline queries. Then we will create a simple store procedure. Okay, we will provide a practical demo and create the syntax, and we'll understand the syntax of the store procedure. Then we'll understand the store procedure with the input parameter, default parameter, output parameter, and then we can secure the store procedure using the encryption method as well. So let's get started without any further delay. So first we'll understand the theoretical knowledge. What is the store procedure? So it is basically, as a layman language, you can say that it is a batch of statement which is grouped in as a logical unit and stored in the database. Okay, it's a batch of T-SQL statements grouped as a logical unit and stored in database. Okay, so it is a batch of T-SQL statement. Store procedure can have a batch of T-SQL statement, or it can have only a one T-SQL statement as well. So by meaning of the T-SQL statements, like if you write down the select asterisk from this, okay, so this is nothing but a one T-SQL statement. Like if you write down this select asterisk from, so this is nothing but a T-SQL statement. We will say T-SQL statement. So this is a one T-SQL statement. If I write down some other statement as well and enclose it inside a store procedure, then it will be treated as a batch of T-SQL statement. If I put all both statement inside the store procedure body, then it will be the batch of T-SQL statement grouped as a logical unit. Why it is called the logical unit? Because this and it should be related to each other. Okay, so that is why it is called as a logical unit. So let me remove as of now. So what are the benefits? Why it is always recommended to use the store procedure instead of inline query? So there are a number of basic benefits. Okay, the very first benefit is that it can be easily modified. Just in case if you have created a ASP. Let's suppose that you have created an ASP.NET application. Okay, and you have written the inline queries. By saying inline queries means you have write the query select a string from this part of the coding in your ASP.NET application page. Okay, you have a code behind page. There you have write this line directly, okay, without using store procedure. Then what will happen there? Suppose your application is on production, okay, and you got some error and you have to change this line. So what you will do, you change this line in your application, then you, which is already hosted, then you have to modify the code in the application. You have to rebuild it again, test the entire application again, and then rehost it in the production. So just to change this simple line of code which is inline in your application, so modification you can see it's a very huge, and the cost effective cost as well, cost incurred as well. So benefit of using the store procedure is that just if you create a store procedure and call the store procedure in ASP.NET application, and in case in future your application is production live and you find it out that the data which is coming from the store procedure is not correct, so where you wanted to modify, you need to modify in your database only. You do not need to touch your application. That is the biggest benefit of using the store procedure. So easily modification, if I can say, it is easily to modify. It is very easy to modify without affecting your application. Without affecting. So let's understand first benefits, and then we will create the store procedure syntax and we'll understand how it goes. Then what is the second is reduce network traffic, we can say. Because why? If you have an inline query, you this is the simplest query. Just in case if you have complicated query and you have written down in the inline, then and the request will be go to the server. Okay, whenever the user is using your application, the request will be sent from your browser to the server. Okay, so the traffic will be very huge because it will be concatenated in your query string. Okay, if you pass some parameter, then it will be also concatenated in your request query string, which is sent to the server. So if you use the store procedure, then there will be a very less network, reduce network traffic. Okay, so this is also, let me comment it out. So this is the second benefit. Okay, so the procedure name is, so in the case of the, if you use the store procedure, so only the store procedure name will be passed over the network instead of whole tsql code. Okay, then the third is the performance. When we talk about the store procedure, we always talk about the performance. Okay, so what is, it will always give you best performance instead of the tsql statement. Why? Because whenever first time when you create a store procedure, the SQL Server engine, what it will do, it will create a plan. Okay, plan is nothing but this plans. You see, actual execution plans, live statistics, and what do you call this actual and estimated execution plan. Okay, this is the so what will happen, so whenever the SQL store procedure is executed for the first time, the SQL server database engine, it will create a plan and stored in the buffer pool, so that the plan will be reused when it executed the next time. So what is the meaning of plan? So why the plan will be created? So when the store procedure will be executed, so it will database engine will find it out. It will require some resources to execute your store procedure, right? So it will, what will happen, it will create a plan that like for this store procedure, this much of the pool will this much of the this much of these things, I mean the worker process will be used, this much of the cpu will be used. Okay, this is nothing but a plan will be created. Okay, for this plan will be created for this particular perform store procedure. So what will happen, whenever you create a store procedure, plan will be executed created for the first time. Next time when the store procedure will be executed, the same store plan which is already been created, which is stored already in buffer pool, the database engine will pick that plan and create your store procedure. So what will happen, the store procedure will take very less time in the second time to execute the store procedure. Why? Because the plan is already been created. Okay, engine do not need to go ahead again and create a plan for the store procedure wherever. So that is why it will give the better performance instead of the inline query. So what will happen, if you create an inline query, the SQL Server database engine always has to create a plan for the your inline query, and it will not retain your plan in a buffer full. So it will always take a much time to execute your inline query. Okay, so performance of the store procedure is better than inline queries. Then the last but not the least is the security. So security is also very important, right? Whenever we are creating an application and we are using your database, we are using database, the security, maintaining the security is very important. So it reduces the threat by eliminating direct access to the table. So what will happen when we create a store procedure and we use the store procedure name in your ASP.NET application, so might be some malicious user hack your application, they will be able to they will be able to find it out the name of the store procedure, but they will not have a direct access to the table. Okay, just in case if you use the inline queries in your application, okay, then what will happen, if the code will be break down by some malicious user, then users that those malicious user will be able to find out the particular table name. Okay, so that is a very big security threat while using the inline queries. While in store procedure, it is completely different. Security is much provided in the case of store procedure. So these are the basically very broadly called benefits. Okay, then we let's go ahead and create a simple store procedure. Now let's go ahead and create a simple store procedure. So how we can create a simple store procedure? So syntax is, first you need to write create. Okay, and you can write proc, or you can write complete procedure. So it's completely depend on you. And let's say I create a store procedure, and then you need to provide your name of the procedure. So let get department. So I'm going to create a procedure with the name get department list. Okay, and then you need to provide as and end, and here you need to provide begin. Okay, so here it goes the body of the store procedure. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this T-SQL statement here, paste it over here, and this is done. So select that complete store procedure and click on execute. So command completed successfully. I'm getting press Ctrl R so that this body will be gone and you will be able to see this store procedure has been created. Now how you can execute this store procedure? So there you can first, whether the store procedure is created or not, you just go to the to your database which you have selected, go to the programmability, okay, and select your store procedure, refresh it, and then you can open and you can search for your store procedures. See, get department list, this has been created. So very first way is to execute the store procedure is, first there is an option, right click here and there is execute store procedure. Okay, let me click on this execute store procedure. This way it will open the pop-up and there is no parameter we are providing, it's a simple store procedure, so there is nothing it is asking, just need to click on OK button. See, store procedure is created and it has given me all the records of this department table, and it returning value is 0. Okay, and it is saying 19 row affected, 1 row affected, 19 row affected, 19 rows, and the result is returning, it is not returning any value. Output parameters we are not using, so that is why it return value is 0. And here is a 19 row affected, it is saying why it is 19 row, because we have not set no count on. Okay, uh, before explaining no count on, first understand the second way of executing the store procedure. So this is the first way by which you can execute your procedure, and second way is you can simply type execute and just copy, take the name of the store procedure and paste it over here. Okay, and then select the entire thing and click on execute. See, it will give the same 19 rows. You can see here 19 rows, and if you go to the message it will say the 19 rows affected. Okay, now if just in case I don't want this 19 rows count to be shown in my result set, so what you can do, you can just go here, okay, and inside the body and just set no count. I don't want my count to be shown in my result set, so just type set no count on. Okay, okay, here. But now what will happen if I select this entire thing and try to execute, what it will show that there is already an object with the name this. It says that you have already created a store procedure with this name. Okay, so that means it is not allowing me to alter or modify the store procedure. So what we need to do, instead of create, we need to just type alter here. Okay, because the store procedure is already been created, we are just modifying it by adding this line of code. So just save it, just select it and now execute it. See, completed successfully. Now try to execute it again to see the result. See, 19 row executed, you can see here, and go to the message, command completed successfully. Now this time I am not getting 19 row affected. Okay, so by this way you can remove this count thing in your result set. So this is a simple store procedure. Now if you wanted to see the result based on some input parameter, just in case this is it will give all the results of all the departments, but I want a simple one department based on parameter what I am passing. Okay, I want I want the result based on the parameter based on the department ID which I am going to pass. So that is called the input parameter. Why it is called input? Because user is giving the input to the store procedures to behave accordingly. So this is why it is called the input parameters. Okay, so what I'm going to do, instead of creating another store procedure to make you understand the input parameter how it works, so it's better, I think we can use the same store procedure and modify it accordingly. Okay, so what we can do here, you need to provide your input parameters. So how you can provide input parameters? So as you see here that we have already a store procedure here. You need to provide your parameters inside the parenthesis, and let's say, and you need to give the parameter name, like for my case department ID, and you need to provide the data type of your parameters. Okay, so this is nothing, this is your input parameters. Okay, you do not need to write input here. By default, if you provide any parameters here, it will take it as an input. If you wanted to give the values of output, if you wanted to pass the output parameters, then you need to mention output here. Okay, if you will not mention anything, then it will take as an input parameter. Okay, as usually you can create this procedure like, but what I wanted, I have already this procedure, so I'm going to alter this procedure and add input parameters. Now what will happen, you need to pass this parameters here. Okay, because I wanted the result based on this department ID, right? So department ID is the column in my table, and I want this department ID, give me the result from this table based on this department ID which I am going to pass. Okay, so just select this procedure again and execute it. Command completed successfully. Press Ctrl R so that it will go. Now if you try to execute this, see what will happen. It will say that procedure function expect a parameter. Okay, because we have added a parameter, so it is expecting a parameter. It's saying that I'm going to execute only if you provide me the department ID. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need to provide a department ID. So because this department ID parameter is of integer type, so I'm going to present give the value 1. Okay, see, for department ID 1, I got entire record here, engineering, research and development and everything. Just in case, if you have some other data type, you can put it here. Okay, you can put it here, varchar. In case if you added, wait a second. In case if you added varchar, then how you can going to provide, how you will go to provide your, you need to enclose your value inside the single parenthesis. Okay, then you will be able to understand, then you will be able to get the result. So this is the input parameter. Now let's say what is the default parameter. Default parameter is like, if user will not give any value to the input parameter, then the default value will be used. So how you can use it? You just need to use like 2. Let's say I am going to provide the 2 as a default value for the parameter list. Okay, so as I have modified, so you need, whenever you modify a single thing inside the procedure, you have to add, you have to write here alter, and then you need to execute it again so that the new definition will be new definition will be stored in the database. Okay, now it is execute, now we need to execute. Suppose now, just in case, this, now this time I'm not going to give any value for the input parameter. So what will happen? Execute. By default, see, it has taken the 2 value by default because we have given the value 2 as a by default. Now if I wanted the value 1, I wanted the department, for the department ID 1, see, it will give the 1. If I wanted like 5 or 4, let's say, save this, select this and execute this. But just in case if I will not give any value and I have provided the default value, then it will give the 2 value. Okay, so I think your concept is clear now, how we can create a store procedure with a default parameter. Okay, so based on your requirement, you can use the default parameter or the input parameter. Okay, now let's understand output parameter. What is output parameter is saying, I will give you the result set, I will give the result set as well as I will give you the output parameter which you need to use in your ASP.NET application. Suppose you have a requirement where you wanted for input parameters, you have a requirement to display this department based on the department ID. Okay, so this is fine. Just in case if you have a requirement to show the value which you have just inserted in your database, you wanted to get the ID of that particular department, then how you can get it? Okay, so let's see till now how many departments I have. I think 19th. Okay, so 19th, 20, 21. Okay, this test group. Okay, so last one is the 22. So this is random value which is already been inserted. So last one is 20. Let's say with the help of store procedure, I am going to insert a new department in my table, department table. Okay, and as soon as this department ID is the auto incremented value, okay, as we can see. So what will happen whenever the new record will be inserted, whatever the ID will be inserted into the database, just give it back to me so that I will display in my ASP.NET application, or I can use it further. Okay, so how we, in that case, in that scenarios, we use the output parameters. Okay, so how we can do it? So we will use the same store procedure and change it, and we'll understand how we can use the output parameters. Okay, so let's say I wanted department ID as an output. Okay, we okay, so I'm going to alter the store procedure. Okay, and this is, let's say, varchar. Okay, varchar, let's say 50. So what will happen, this is the store procedure. This is a store procedure. What is going, what we have department name with data type varchar. Okay, and it is treated as an input parameter, and we will get the department ID as an output parameter. So we are going to modify the store procedure. Instead of select, what we are going to do, we are going to insert a record inside this table. Okay, let me drag this table. That will be easy. So either you can type it, or you can drag your table directly to save your time. Okay, and then you have to mention your columns. I hope that you know that how we can create what do you call how we can create the statement for the insert command. Okay, so what are the columns we have? Department ID, insert into columns. Wait a second, let me see how many columns we have. Okay, department ID, name, you need name, and okay, we are going to pass only the name. Okay, as name is the keyword, so that is why it is coming as a blue. So to override, you can enclose it into this parenthesis. Okay, so what are the values you wanted to pass? Okay, and this is output parameter, so we cannot use this. What all we are going here, and group name is also, let's say, sorry, group name. Okay, here we go, group name, and value what you pass is, we need to pass the value what we have in our parameters. So I'm going to pass both department name, insert into this. Okay, and whatever the record will be inserted, you want this value, okay, in your department ID column. So let me copy this, not column, sorry, this is the output parameter, and you can use scope identity. Okay, just in case if you do not know what is scope identity, it will retrieve the last inserted record ID. Okay, so this is scope identity. I have already created a one video on the scope identities, identity current and difference between all those. So you can go to the SQL Server playlist, and there you will find it, and I will provide the link also in the description box. You can go and check the difference between scope identity, okay, ident current, and one more thing. So there, what it will give, whatever the data will be inserted, okay, that will be display in the department, that will be stored in the department ID output parameter. Okay, so this is our store procedure that we have created, we have altered it. So let me execute. Command completed successfully, there is no error here. Now we are going to execute it. So if we execute without passing anything, so it will expect a parameter department ID which is not supplied. Okay, because the definition of the store procedure is now changed, so you need to provide the value here. Okay, so how you can provide the value? I want this value, department name, let's say test output, let's say what department we can say, finance department. Okay, let's say I am going to add one more finance test department, finance test department. Okay, and let's try to execute it. Error entering the data type value error, because very first is the output parameter, so you need to give the output parameter. Just type it as 0. Command completed successfully. So it is saying that it has inserted. And one more thing I forgot to type here, that you need to, we have inserted but we need to display as well. So for that we need to type select department ID. Okay, and you need to give, if you wanted you can give the alias to the output parameter, or if you don't, that's fine. It's all up to you. Department ID parameter. So as I have added one more line in the store procedure, so what we need to do, just go and select this and execute it. So the definition will be modified. Now you need to execute the same store procedure. Okay, cannot insert the duplicate key in the remove the unique essence. Okay, so this is because of the department, because we have inserted the 0 value. Let's say execute it. It's already been. Let's say, let's select this record and see what we have inserted here. Okay, it is already been inserted, and why we are getting this cannot insert the duplicate value, because we have already this data finance test inserted in the database table. So that is why it is saying that cannot insert the value, because there is a what do you call, the unique key constraint will be applied here. So what we can, finance test, we can use the finance test. Okay, and use 0 value and just try to execute it now. See, now it is giving me department ID 28. So it is saying that now the record will be inserted, and the record which is inserted with the ID is 28. So to confirm it, you can just go back and select your table and see what is the last added entry, that is the 28. Now why there is a difference 25 to 28? Because we have added, we have tried to insert the record with the same ID. So what will happen in the background, this ID will be generated, it will not be collapsed. Okay, it will be generated, but the data, as the data will not be inserted, so what will happen, so the next time when the data will be inserted without any error, it will append the auto incremented ID with the value 1. So this is the default behavior of the SQL server. Okay, so many of us will not know, so that is why this auto incremented column will not be will not be used in the ASP.NET application as an identity column, because it always it is not always a correct value. Sometimes when you got an error while inserting, the auto incremented value will be one plus one will be added, and it will be create a gaps. Okay, as you can see here, 20 after 25 we have a 28. Okay, so always do not rely on the auto incremented column for the unique key. So do not use this auto incremented column as a unique column in your ASP.NET application. It will create a problem in your application in future. So this is the one tip. Then we have encrypted store procedure. Okay, this is the last topic. So how you can create a store procedure if you wanted to encrypt, just in case you have created a store procedure and you want, you know that there is minimum chances of having any error in the store procedure, and the application is working fine. So and you want it to be encrypted, so that you wanted this procedure to be encrypted. So how you can do it, you just need to create, you just need to use the encryption keyword. Okay, so let me create a very simple store procedure for you here. Okay, let's create here, create proc Okay, test encrypt procedure. Okay, so this is the procedure name, and here begin and here end. So this is in between. This is the body. Select asterisk from and just pick the same record, and I wanted this store procedure to be encryption. So what you need to do, you just type with encryption, so it will encrypt your store procedure. So that's all. Just select this store procedure and execute it. Okay, now if you wanted to execute this, so what will happen, it will be able to give you the result. Okay, it will be able to give you a result, but just if you wanted to see the definition of this store procedure. Okay, if you go here and refresh your store procedures, okay, there is a test encryption procedure. If you see, there is a small lock overhead. Okay, so this small lock over the store procedure still, this is the encryption store procedure. You will not be able to modify this modify option uh, is grayed out. Okay, so that means that you will not be able to modify it. Okay, if you wanted to see the store procedure, the definition of the store procedure, so what it will do, it will not be it will give you error, and it will not give you, see, the text header is not available to store procedure, this property may not exist for this object. That means that it will not be able to give you the definition of the store procedure, whereas the simple store procedure what we have created, there is no lock over it. Okay, you will be able to modify the store procedure, and if you wanted to see the definition or the body of the store procedure, you will be able to see. Okay, so just wait for a couple of seconds. Here you will get the body, the complete definition of the store procedure. Okay, department, everything. But for the encryption, you will not be able to see this. So if you have a requirement to encrypt your store procedure by this definition, by this statement, by this with encryption keyword, you will be able to encrypt your store procedure. Okay, so I hope this will be okay. You will be able to understand, for it will be helpful for those who have demanded this video, and will be able to understand what is the basic difference of the store procedures, and how we can create the different store procedure with the input parameters, default parameters, output parameters, and how we can create the encrypted parameters as well. Okay, and there is one more trick I wanted to give you. Never create a store procedure with the underscore sp. Okay, if you see here usp, this is get parameter list. The naming convention store procedure should not start with the spy, because the system store procedure, if you see, if you expand this, you will be able to see lot of store procedure which is starting from the sp. See, sys.sp underscore sp. So whenever you create a store procedure, that is a user defined store procedure, never give the naming convention of the store procedure with sp underscore whatever you wanted to do. Why? Because whenever if you do so, then what will happen, it will go, first of all, database engine will check in the system store procedure, as your store procedure is created started with the sp. So it will take lot of time to go through and check all the system store procedure, because we already have so many store procedure in each of the database what you have created. Okay, then it will come to your user defined database and see. So never, so lot of time will be consumed here. So what will happen, a lot of time will be wasted here. So instead of so always give, either you can start your store procedure with a proc underscore, or you can start with a get. Okay, and with the alias like human resource, if you have this human resource schema, if you have a schema. Okay, or you, if you have an employee schema, then employee dot get get store procedure employee dot sp underscore, that is fine. But do not start with the dbo dot sp underscore store procedure name. Okay, otherwise it will kill you a lot of time to fetch the store procedure out of the database. Okay, so I hope you like the video. Just in case if you have any doubt regarding the store procedure syntax or anything, or error, if you are facing any error in the store procedure, you can free to comment me in this comment box. I will be happy to help you out. Thank you and have a nice day, guys.